goes. Hello, hello. Testing, testing. One, two, three. Yo, what's up, everybody? I am back. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. My name is Mitchell. And in this episode today, I'll be talking about if behavior is a language, what is she telling you? What is she telling you? The importance of focusing on someone's actions is really, really important. You can always bottom line someone's action. And so in today's episode, that's what I'm going to be talking about. Okay. And I do YouTube lives every Saturday at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. And I will be talking about a recap episode of women want to be your cheerleader, not your coach. So what does it mean? It means that if you're a guy and you're this masculine figure and you're this masculine guy, you have to be the one that leads. There's no negotiation. That's just how it works. And if you don't like it, well, you can complain about it. You're not going to get a lot of good dates. You're not going to get a lot of good prospects. And chances are you're probably going to just settle down with somebody that you don't really like. Just trying to tolerate. What's up, Crystal? Welcome. So, why masculine men lead? And the reason why this is so important is because you have to understand that behavior, if her behavior is a language, what is she really telling you? There's really not much you can do as a guy to really change somebody's view of, if she already has a view about you and how she perceives you, you can't really change that. What you can change is yourself, on how you operate and how you behave, and it might change her behavior. It might change her views. Let me see. Hello. Okay. So, when a woman says she wants a man that can lead, it really means that she's just looking for someone that can make decisions, someone that could take initiative and provide direction. So, and this happens to all areas of his life. This includes relationships, families, career, things of that nature. So it's the desire of leadership that really focuses on these type of qualities. What's up, Brazil? What's up? So it's the qualities such as being confident, being decisive, having responsibilities, ability to guide and support her. So are you able to do that? And if you can't do that, well, you're gonna run into a lot of problems. She's gonna be very upset. And when a woman's upset, she becomes even more masculine. And she's going to be this AKA witch, AKA the bitch. And you don't want that. And obviously, you want to make sure that the woman that you're with is easygoing and easy to get along with. But that's really on you, right? There's a vetting process. What's up, April? What's up? That person from Greece. What's up? Okay. So what she doesn't want, what a woman don't want is someone that leans over to her and always look at her as a person to make the decision, especially if she's looking at you as a leader, or she expects you to be the leader and you're no longer the leader. It's going to cause a lot of problems in your relationship. And so her behaviors will change, and it's going to force her to be in her masculine. She's like, I'll take care of it. I'll do this. I'll do that. What women really want is to have fun. Women just want to have fun. Ladies just want to have fun. And are you able to provide that for her? Can you, as a guy, can you lead that type of relationship? And if the answer is no, she's going to find somebody else, and don't be upset. So she doesn't want someone that leans over to her to make the decision. You have to make the decision yourself. Girls want to have fun. They just want to be the person that enjoys time with you. It is very attractive to them because being decisive takes a lot of mental load off of her. It shows a man has a really good, strong sense of self, and he has good instincts, and he could provide. There's a leadership. So if you really want to better understand why being a leader is so attractive, being confident and things like that, we have to look at the opposite of being decisive, which is being indecisive. And if you focus on being indecisive, what do you get? You get a lot of slow movement. It slows you down in all areas of your life. This shows a lack of confidence in yourself. And the number one most attractive thing to any woman is confidence. And if you can't provide that type of confidence, well, why is she going to look at you as a leader? You don't know how to lead. You don't know how to make fun. Ladies, you love a guy that can make you laugh. It doesn't matter how he looks. You want a guy that can make you laugh. So, he's not a guy that doesn't know how to make you laugh. It's not being the one that's taking the lead. So it slows you down. It slows you down in all areas of your life. And if you're supposed to be the provider and the protector, but you lack traits, things like decision making, her chance of survival, in modern analogy, her quality of life declines. Her quality of life. Now, if it was, I don't know, 100,000 years ago, right? And you're chasing and you're hunting. Is it 100,000? Long time ago, okay? If a long time ago, if you lived in caves and you didn't know how to provide and protect her, she's gonna find somebody else. She's gonna find somebody else. So now, imagine a guy that makes quick decisions and doesn't hesitate and knows what he wants. He is sure of himself, and he makes woman he talks to, that he approaches, feel certain that he wants to meet them and he wants to get to know her, compared to the guy that is hesitant, he's indecisive about his words and his actions. It's like, well, how can you really trust a man with your safety if he does not display any type of leadership roles? So that's why it's really, really important. Now, to the meat of the topic of if behavior is a language, what is she telling you? The number one most important thing is that you want to bottom line her actions. So that's my first slide. You want to bottom line her actions. Women vote with their feet. If she's not with you, she's not for you. If she's somewhere else rather than being with you, then she's somewhere else. Women vote with their feet. So you got to watch where she goes. For example, someone says that she really wants to spend time with you, but she could never really find a time, or she's busy, she's tired, or whatever, right? You got to let them go. You have to remember that people are people and they will let you down. People will let other people down. It's inevitable. You can't please everybody. People will eventually let you down. Now, your thing is, if you're a guy and you're watching this and it's happening to you and you're allowing it, you're continuing to allow them or her to let you down consistently, it is a choice, and it is your choice. Even though you're unconsciously giving it to them, it's still a choice. So you have to realize, you have to take a step back and understand that, hey, look, I can't let this person continue to let me down. So you got to walk away from that situation. Now, on a side note, it is always better to underrate her level of interest in you. And you're like, what does that mean, Mitchell? So, assuming that she is head over heels in love with you, she says, I love you. I don't know what to do without you. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. Those are words of a level of a 10. That's a 10. She loves you. Now, what you want to do is you want to underrate that just by 1, maybe even 1.5. So rate it a 9. Now, another example is if she's really excited about you and she wants your attention a lot, but she doesn't really say I love you as much as the 10, we'll probably rate it an 8, because it is always better to underrate her level of interest. Because at the end of the day, when you could bottom line her actions, what you could focus on is that it pulls you back into reality. So let's just say a guy, I remember this guy, he was saying like, oh yeah, my girlfriend loves me. She says this, she says that. And he's like, look, I'm locked in. This is good. This is good for me. I could basically slack off. And I'm like, yeah, number one, don't get too comfortable. But also number two, it's like, I know you like her a lot, so you got to be careful not to project your feelings of how you feel about her and expect her to have the same type of feeling. So what ended up happening was he overrated her value or her interest level, and he mistakenly think that on top of that he got a little complacent. So it kind of pulls you back into reality when all this happens. Is that like you stay focused on what's really happening. So you're focusing on what she does. Does she want to spend more time with you? Or she's saying things like, oh, I don't, right now it's not a good time. And, because when a woman's in love with you, she's going to make time for you no matter what. She's always going to make time. She won't find a time if she doesn't have it. So you can always bottom line her actions or his actions. If you're a lady and you're watching this, you can always bottom line someone's actions. So same thing for you guys, for you ladies. If he really, really does care about you, he will make that time. Maybe it's not right there and then, but he's going to make that time for you. So watch out for that. You can always bottom line someone's actions, okay? Because now, people say a lot of things, and sometimes they mean it, and sometimes they don't. You have to really focus on what their action says. A woman can only love a man she can respect, and if she does not respect you enough, you have to walk away. You have to walk away from it. You have to understand how attraction works, what you can do to help build and facilitate that type of love. If you're not getting it, maybe you once got it and now you're not getting it as much. How are you going to help facilitate that? Because how you behave as a guy is going to affect how she's going to react towards you. Okay, so let's talk about the dating phase. And this is not the long-term relationship. It's just dating, okay? And so say, for example, you're interested in this woman, and she's kind of giving you a lot of wishy-washy type of answers. Someone that's not really giving you a solid answer. So an example would be that you're asking, you're interested in her. You're a guy, you're interested in her, and you're asking her out on a dinner. When are you free to grab dinner sometime? And she goes, I'm a little busy. And she doesn't give you any type of counter offer like, oh, but next week works. She's not really giving something solid. Then you take it as a note, like, okay, maybe she forgot. You could wait a week, ask her again. But if you ask twice and she does not offer you anything, just walk away. Just walk away. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your money. Don't waste your mental bandwidth focusing on somebody that doesn't really want to be with you. Now, on the flip side, if she's giving you answers like, well, this week I'm a little bit busy, but I'm free on the weekend next week, then what you can do is say like, okay, great. Like, well, how does next Friday at 6 p.m. or 5 p.m. at blank restaurant sound? And if she'd be like, oh yeah, 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock at this restaurant next Friday will work, then perfect. Leave it at it as is. You don't have to constantly text back and forth. If she wants to text you, she can. But in the meantime, you don't have to do that. Cozy, you said, what if they are in between two people, they go on many physical dates with you because they aren't sure while dating? Do you still wait for them? Okay, so it sounds like you guys are not you guys aren't exclusive, but she's going on multiple dates. And you're asking like, oh, should you be okay with that? And if that's what you're asking, the answer is absolutely. All is fair in love and war, okay? What I'm teaching you is to be your most irresistible option for her. That's the best thing that you can do. Let's just say there's 10 guys that she's going on dates with. There's 10 guys. You're going to be that one other guy. You're going to be that one other guy that's going to act in a way that's going to make her wonder, like, damn, how come all these other guys are acting kind of like clingy, a little needy, always texting me, but out of nowhere there's this cozy guy. I don't know. He's not really messaging me, but we go on dates. But when we go on dates, we're having fun. We're having a good time. Things like that. For my little brother, yes. Yeah, for sure, absolutely. Okay, Cozy's little brother, right? Yeah, absolutely. You want to allow her because you're not exclusive. This is still a dating process. Like this is still dating. So there's a lot of vetting process. Most people can hide themselves for who they are within the first 90 days. When that does happen, you want to ask certain questions. Like you want to have certain questions for yourself to understand, like, is this person worth my time moving forward in the future, or is this just kind of like a booty call kind of thing? You really got to know what you want. But I'll explain a little bit more in my in my other slides later. So okay, so what I say, yeah, so if she's giving you a counter offer, absolutely, that's great. You know, because some people get busy, and when they're busy, they just can't do certain things. But she's like, hey, you know what, this week don't work, but next week I could. So you should still continue to go on dates as she makes times for you. Yeah, absolutely. Regardless of the others they are dating, give it a few months. Okay, thank you. There's still more to that, but yes, yeah. In general, most guys, what they feel like they need to do is, so let's just say you go on a date and then you go on a second date, you kissed, and maybe y'all even hooked up. What ends up happening is that the guy gets too attached too quickly, too soon. You have to allow her to choose you as the best option. If she's a woman of beauty, she's going to have multiple dates. You just got to be the most irresistible option for her. And that's by acting in ways that is more attractive. So if you focus on yourself as a guy, masculine energy, right? You focus on your mission and purpose. You have things that you want to do, but you also have your own interest, which is, hey, I have interest in this woman over here, and I would love to take her out. I don't know anything about her yet. She's still new. It's still a vetting process. It's kind of like, how would you feel if you kind of even skeptical about her? You're like, yeah, she's beautiful, but women of beauty's everywhere. What you're really looking for is someone that you can really spend a good time with, someone that's easygoing and easy to get along with, someone's that's gonna that's not going to make your life difficult. Like, you're still in that vetting process, so you're still kind of skeptical. And someone that's skeptical isn't gonna be like, oh my god, you're so pretty, I want to be with you. Someone that's skeptical is like, yeah, you're pretty, you're beautiful, but what else do you have? And it's not coming from a malicious type of way. It's like, no, I'm curious. I want to know you. I want to get to know you. And your how your tone is, your demeanor, how you act, all those is gonna help facilitate, like, damn, this person isn't just like Cozy's little brother, isn't just gonna allow anybody to just come into his life and take space. So your time, your energy is valuable to you. So that's how you set value for yourself. Okay. Hope that makes sense. Now, moving on. So what you're looking for is her behavior, not just what she's telling you. A woman that wants to go out on a date with you will make time. If she doesn't, she won't. You want to trust what she is telling you is true, but you also want to do your own due diligence and verify. You want to always trust but verify. So do your own due diligence. You want to analyze the information before you make a solid decision. Perfect. So you always want to analyze the information before you make a solid decision. And just like any type of negotiation, say for example, you're buying a house. Someone says, oh, all this is, yeah, you want to take their advice and be like, okay, you they've done the research, but can you trust them? You, like I said, you always have to do your own due diligence and figure it out and see if this person is telling the truth. Is what they say congruent with their actions? Same thing for buying a house, any type of negotiation, right? So you also want to trust but verify. An example, you don't know. Here's an example. Say you're on a date. You don't know. There are women out there. Okay, men too. Okay, there are men and women out there. You don't know if they're single or not. You don't know if they're single. And there are people out there that will string along another person just because their relationship isn't really going too well, but they're too afraid to end that relationship. So they're waiting for a better person to line up before they make a decision on letting go of the other person. And so, if you're the guy that she is lining up, you don't want to be in the middle of that type of crossfire. It's not worth it. I guarantee you it's not worth it. There are so many instances where the guy that gets involved with another woman, but he failed to ask or even know, but sometimes you just don't know. And he doesn't know that she was in a relationship, or she got a crazy ex-boyfriend that's always like stalking her. So what makes you think if he sees you with her, what do you think will happen? You think he's gonna be reasonable? Maybe. You don't know that. And in this area of expertise, it's, to me, it's not worth it. There's plenty of other better women out there. So if let's just say for me, an example is I'm interested in her. I forgot to ask her, or I failed to find out whether or not she is in a relationship or not. And I'm in this middle of this crossfire. It is on me. It is on my responsibility to be like, damn, like, Mitchell, you should have asked. It could have gone bad. It could have went south really, really fast. Now, let's just say I did find out and I still decided that I want to pursue that. Well, there's still, you can ignore reality, but you cannot ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. So the reality is there's a crazy ex-boyfriend and he might hurt you. He might shoot you. He might whoop your ass. Whatever. Okay. I've heard stories where guys, jealous boyfriends will eliminate the girlfriend or ex, the guy, and then himself. You know, it's like, to me, that's not worth it. That's not worth it. So if I ever find out any type of information like that, and I'd be like, oh, you're in this middle of this breakup, but you haven't broken up yet. Well, you know, I think you're amazing. I think you're beautiful, but you know, it's, I would like you to figure out your situation before moving forward. That's it. And then you take a step back because you want her. And also, this is still a vetting process too. If she's still in a relationship with this guy and she has not broken it off yet, what do you think will happen if she gets with you and things don't go well? You think you're that special that she's not going to string along another person before breaking up with you? Like, yeah, there's all these things you got to be prepared for. It's just not worth it. You're looking for someone that has integrity, that has morals, that has strong morals. And so if you have someone like that, like a woman that's healthy mentally, she's not going to go out on dates with different guys when she's in a relationship, because that's, you know, she has better morals than that. What she's going to really do is she's going to break up with a guy, be single for a little bit, heal herself, and then go out in this dating world. That's what a healthy woman would do. Okay, so it's a vetting process. Let's see. You have to take measured steps, asking quality questions like, what is your family dynamic like? And more often than not, usually, women that comes from broken homes may face, and not just women, right? Men and women, that comes from broken homes would usually face a lot of emotional difficulties. Things like having a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, low self-esteem, trust issues, instabilities. And it is not your job to fix them. It is not your job to fix them. But if you're willing to put in the time and you're like, hey, you know what? I believe that everyone has a chance to change for the better and that could improve themselves, then by all means, that's all you. But like I'm telling you, it is not your job to fix nobody. So if you think it's a little bit too much for you, you don't have to. You be like, damn, okay. You want to ask further questions. Are you getting help? Are they working on themselves? Are they going to therapy? Okay, let's see, cozy. If they are not healthy mentally, but you grow to like her before knowing she isn't, do you wait for her to work on herself and stay dating her? That is really all up to you. That's really up to you. Some people don't mind that. Some people, they'd be like, nah, that's too much baggage for me. To each their own. To each their own. What I really look for in dating is this person, does this person have a growth mindset? Does this person want to become better? Does this person just don't give a shit? Because I look for someone's potential more than where they already at. Like if you can't handle it, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, absolutely. So that was just more of like the dating. Now, in a relationship, if you're in a relationship with your girlfriend or your wife, whether it is short term or long term, you guys are exclusive, you don't see anybody else, it is your job as a man to look at her and judge her level of interest. Remember the interest level? It is your job. So if your woman doesn't open up to you and you're talking to her and she's like, I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to do this, and then you're like, forget it, I don't want to deal with it, because every single time I ask her, she just closes off. So you just can't just throw your hands up and walk away. It is still your job to find out what is going on, because you're the leader. I didn't make you like this. Talk to the man upstairs, all right? He's the one that made you who you are. And if you don't like it, there are things you could go get sex changes and things like that, and then date, right? Things like that. But if you're a guy, you're this masculine guy, and you're in this relationship, just understand that there is a responsibility on your end to take care of what needs to be managed in your household, or it is your responsibility to understand what is going on with her. And that's why I always say, the moment you come home from work, you're talking to her, you want to make sure, hey baby, how you doing? How was work today? Talk to me. And if she has something to tell you, listen. Just listen to her. Most guys like to fix problems. That's your first mistake right there. Don't try to fix her problems. Just listen to her. What's going on? Tell me more. Don't leave anything out. Those are really, really good things to say as she's talking to you. Because when she feels like you're really listening to her, you're understanding her, guess what opens? Her mind opens. And when a woman's mind opens, everything else opens. All right? Everything else opens. You can make her laugh. She's going to want your attention more and more and more. And that is by acting in ways and behaving in a way that is more attractive. So as a guy, like I said, there's a responsibility on your end to figure out if something's bothering her. You have to learn to open her up. You just can't be like, forget it, it's too much. Because the moment you say that, it is about you. You're selfish. It's about you, and it's no longer about the relationship. And when that does happen, that's the beginning of the end of the relationship. That's how things end. When you stop listening to her, you stop dating and courting her, you don't open her up, she's gonna feel closed off. And guess what happens? Usually, more often than not, I hear guys tell me that she's talking to another guy. Why? Because he's willing to listen. He's willing to listen because you closed off. So like I said, it's up to you. How much can you handle? How much can you manage? What is your patience level? All right. So understanding this is a lot of information, but just understanding this, it puts you so much higher, so much more higher than most guys that don't understand this. Now, let's go back. So if she was once all over you and now she is no longer all over you, meaning like she wanted your attention once and now she's like, Mitchell is Mitchell. Let him. I don't want to be around Mitchell. What's up, Tracy? It's usually an attraction issue. If she was once hot and heavy for me and now she's cold and distant, it's almost always an attraction issue. Something that I'm doing or not doing is causing her level of interest to go down. That's usually what it is. So, what is her behavior telling you? What is she saying? What is she doing? What's her tone? What is her nonverbal communication telling you? Is she closed off? Does she not want to open up? Like, cause can you imagine being in a relationship where someone is closed off to you, and that's how it's like the rest of your you can't trust that person. You don't understand what's going on. It's not going to be a very fun relationship. I'm going to tell you that. Okay. And I tell you this too. A lot of people settle in their relationship because, one, it might be also a story that they're telling themselves. I don't think I could find anyone better. There's 7-8 billion people. You can find somebody. You just telling yourself that you can't. So whatever you tell yourself, that story, guess what? It's true. And I refuse to tell myself that type of story where, oh, this is the best it's going to get. You know, it's not going to get any. No, there's always room for improvement. It's how you approach it. So, like I said, from the beginning, I'm looking for somebody with a growth mindset that wants to become better, that wants to become more. Someone that's kind of what you would call a little bit more moldable. Where I'm not controlling that person. Oh, you need to do this. But it's more like, hey, this is what I like. This is what I enjoy. I like someone that's happy. I want someone that's healthy. I'm willing to work with you. I love you. I care about you. But at the end of the day, I'm not there to fix you. I'm there to help support you on the things that you need. So if you need me to help you out. So Cozy, if you're still watching, like in your case, it's not your job to take care of her completely. She still has to be willing to help herself on things. Is she doing things to the best of her knowledge to help her out in her conditions and things like that while you're helping them? Because it can't just be all on you. You know what I mean? And it's not your job to fix that person. So, let's see. What is her behavior telling you? So if her behavior is like, well, if she's around you more, great. And if she does, or is it like, well, she doesn't really want more of your time. She wants less of your time. Now, as the man and the leader of the relationship, like I said before, it is your responsibility to take the lead and find out. And it must, when you're finding out this type of information, if you will, it must come from a position of strength. And I'm going to explain that. So when you're asking her and she's upset, and she's upset at you, specifically you, on the things that you did or did not do, it has to be coming from a place of strength. Meaning, when you're trying to find out why she's becoming a little bit more cold and a little bit more distant, you have to approach it in a way where you're curious as to why she became more cold and distant. A lot of people, they come from a place of weakness, which is like, well, I'm asking you because I'm afraid of losing you and I don't want to lose you. And that's a weakness. If something you've done or did not do that's causing her to be upset, you'd be like, hey, baby, what's going on? You know, I've noticed you've been a little bit more quiet lately. You've been a little bit more closed off. Like, what's going on? Like, what's bothering you? And then she's telling you, and you absorb that information. You know, every time I try to talk to you, or you're always on your phone, or you're doing this and that. So then you want to respond in a way such as, well, so if I'm hearing you out correctly, it's not the fact that I'm on my phone. It's that the time that we have together, I'm not giving you my full undivided attention. Is that right? That's more coming from a place of strength, by understanding her and how she wants to feel heard. That's what a woman wants. She wants to feel heard. And if you can't provide that for her, and you can't change those type of actions, or instead, what's worse is that you complain about it. You'd be like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, I'm with you all the time. That's the worst thing you can do, right? It's like, I'm with you all the time. I hear all your bullshit. You keep telling me the same shit over and over, and you don't do anything about it. A lot of guys do that because he's trying to fix her. He tried to fix her. It doesn't work. She doesn't want to fix herself. And it's like, then you're upset about it. Behind anger is always fear. And so because you tried to fix it, she doesn't want to fix it. And all this is happening. You're like, now you just kind of throw your hands up in the air and say, forget it. what you're conveying to your girlfriend or your wife is you're conveying to her that I'm not going to change. Everything's going to stay the same and you handle it yourself. And because I'm not going to be listening to you anymore. That's what you're conveying to her. But instead, if you do this and be like, what's going on? What's on your mind? What's bothering you? So from what you're telling me is when I do this, it makes you feel like this. Is that right? That is how you make her feel heard and understood. And when she feels heard and understood, guess what? Her emotions going to change. She's going to want you more. She's going to want your attention more. That is how you help facilitate a happy and healthy relationship. Instead of throwing your hands up and say, I give up. Okay? And by all means, you can do that too. You know, it's how much you value your relationship. And a lot of people don't value their relationship until the relationship is gone. Okay? But it's also there's a way to approach this where you're not coming from a place of like that weakness that I was telling you about, where you're acting in a way like, oh baby, what's bothering you? What's going on? And she's mad and she's like angry and aggressive towards you, and you're kind of like submissive to her, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, I'll change. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that. And it's like it's coming from this place of weakness, and she feels like she could dominate over you. She doesn't feel like you have confidence within yourself, and so she's gonna take that inch and lead it to a mile. All right, so it's, what's that quote? Hold on, let me think. Okay, I remember. So my Coach Corey Wayne said, no one will ever do or say anything to you that you don't invite them to do. So say, for example, if she's upset and she's not liking what you did or did not do, and she's aggressive towards you, what you can do is be like, hey, look, hey, baby, I care about you. I love you. But what you're doing right now, and because you're a guy, you got to stay calm, cool, calm, and collected. You're just like, you're yelling at me. That's not very loving. That is not what I tolerate. And if you want to talk to me, you want to tell me how you feel, there's something that has to change. And that tone has to go if you want to talk to me. Otherwise, I'm not going to tolerate this. And if this happens again, then there's not going to be another next time. Oh, you trying to threaten the relationship? No, I'm just letting you know my boundaries. Don't talk to me like that. That's it. Until they are gone. Yeah. So you usually don't know until it's gone, right? Then I wish I did more to save the relationship. Yeah. And that's usually what happens in most relationships. And here's another problem with that, guy. The problem with that is when most guys, they're like, oh, now that she's gone, I want her back. I want her back now that she's gone. Well, and when that does happen, and when guys come to me like, oh, damn, they're desperate to get their girlfriend back, I'm like, okay, Mitchell, what can I do to get her back? And I'm like, you could get her back, but it's not going to be long before she goes away again, because nothing about you has changed. First of all, it takes about 90 days for a behavior to change. And then on top of that, even if you do get her back, it's like you're still gonna do the same exact things that got her to leave you in the first place. So it's always gonna be this very toxic type of, I'm gonna leave you, let's get back together. I'm gonna leave you, let's get back together. It's never gonna be a happy, healthy relationship. So until you fix that, it's like, my question to you is, well, what stopped you? What made you not put your best foot forward anymore? What stopped? Is it because she left and you're like, damn, I'm lonely? Or is it because, you know what, I really did care about her, I made a mistake, and this is what happened? It's like, it's my job as a coach to pick out like what really went wrong, and to spot out your bullshit, because a lot of people bullshit, and to me, I'm like, nah, I can see that from a mile away. It's like, you stopped caring, you did, and then now you want her back because she got with somebody else. All right, so it's still about you. It's still about you. It's really not about her. And if it's not about the relationship, it will never work out. Let's see. Moving on. So, okay. So I said, You have to come from a place of strength versus weakness, because what you fear, you attract. And what you look at disappears. Because in the law of attraction, when you focus on fear, you tend to attract more negative type of experiences. However, when you confront or you face fear or the problem, that issue directly, it loses power over you. So it seems like it kind of disappears as you understand it more. So what does it mean? It means that you have to face fear. You got to punch fear in the face and be like, you know what? You're not going to have more power over me. I'm afraid. But usually what ends up happening is, it's like a lot of guys that are upset, especially if they kind of fell into the category of listening to too many red pill community type of stuff. They're hurt men that don't understand women, and so they just label them as this, and they use a lot of fancy words to make themselves feel a little bit better. And it's like, well, until you really understand women, you will never win the heart of one. You will never really win the heart of one. So I encourage you to learn more, and you can always become more in a relationship. And once you understand it, you don't want to lose that neither, because, you know, we all yearn for love and affection. Like, that's one of our basic human needs. All right. So I have one more slide, which is you cannot change her, but you can change yourself. That's the beauty of it. There's not a lot that you can do about her if she already has opinion about you, but there is a lot that you can do about yourself. Cheese with duck. Do you believe childhood affects how we act? Absolutely, 100%. So I don't know how if you just came in here, duck, but I talked about people usually that comes from broken homes have a lot of emotional distress. They have a lot of emotional distress, and it causes a lot of other people to, you know, it's at the end of the day, it's like, well, are you fixing your own problems? Because it's not your job to fix them. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm far from it. But I know what I am aware of is that I'm aware that there are certain flaws that I have, and I have to work on it, me myself. And so everybody, and what you're looking for is that type of person too, because no one grows up perfectly. Some people grow up in a happy and healthy type of household where there's a mom and there's a dad, and the dad is more masculine, and the wife listens to the dad. Why? Because she trusts his leadership, and so she allows him to lead because he's a good masculine guy. And so if he has kids, a daughter or a son, he knows what's important, how to stay grounded. And it's the more, just think of it like this: the more masculine you are, and the more you act in ways that is more masculine, true masculinity, it's going to attract other women. Naturally, you can't attract everybody, but you're going to attract other people in your life. So the more attractive you become, the more she will want you. It is still your job and your responsibility to understand that type of power that you have. Great responsibility. Do you see that? So what I'm teaching guys is, I'm not teaching guys to be like, oh, this is how you do this so you could, you know, go out there and be disloyal. I'm saying that if you don't have this ability right now, you could go out there, you could build yourself up, and until you find someone good, great, then you settle in with that person because you love them and you care about them. All right. Back to, you can't change her, but you can change yourself. Okay? If she already has an opinion about you, there's really not a lot that you can do. It's not your job to try to convince them neither. It's, hey, you know what, by all means, if that's how you... People could change. People do change. Not often, but they do. And if someone already has an opinion about you, it is what it is. There are certain people out there that have an opinion about me. Decades ago, when I was in high school, and I was kind of dorky. I did not understand anything. I was just this nerdy looking kid that loved Pokemon, and I still do to this day. And it's like, and they have their own opinion about me, and I might have said some things that I shouldn't have said, and because of that, they have their opinion about me. If they already do, there's not much that you can do. Just gotta let them go, and it is what it is. People come and go in your life, and that's the beauty of it. I view people that come into my life and that leaves my life as gifts, because they teach me a lot of things. They allow me to learn. They become more than I am. A lot of people, they see that when people leave them, that it's the worst thing that could have happened. It's a curse. Like, what did I do wrong? And they are unwilling to change. So my view and my perspective is that I like to have a growth mindset, because a lot of people, I always say that there's two choices. You could either become bitter and upset about life, or you could become better and improve your life. That is ultimately your choice. And if you don't choose to be better, usually most people, they become bitter, because like I said, no decision is still a decision, and it's the decision that it's requires least resistance. It doesn't really require you to do much. You could be going to work, coming back home, and do nothing all day for the rest of your life, but don't expect much in your life. All right. So always continue. As a guy, you got to always continue to work on yourself. Always work on yourself. Now, if you're in this relationship, if you think where you're headed with this relationship that you have with your woman, your wife, is going south, and you tried your best, you spoke to an expert about it, about understanding relationships, and you can't salvage it, but the best negotiation position is to walk away and mean it. Is to walk away. Okay, I'm not telling you to give up. I'm telling you that you tried everything, you spoke to everybody, you've done your best, and nothing's changed, then walk away. But there's, from my line of work, what I've noticed is the quickest way to get anybody else to change is to change yourself. Is to change how you speak, what you're willing to tolerate, what are your boundaries. You got to set those boundaries. You got to enforce those boundaries. A lot of people set boundaries, but they don't enforce it. So in other words, it's a bluff. And if someone calls out your bluff, they know you don't mean it. And when they know you don't mean it, guess what? The next time you try to set up another bluff or set up this other quote unquote boundary, they're not going to take it serious. It's like the boy who cried wolf. So you have to set those boundaries. You got to enforce it. You have to enforce those boundaries. An example of me setting and enforcing boundaries is, before, what used to happen was people would say certain things, they do certain things, and I allow it to happen. And guess what? When they do that, I just get upset. I complain about it. It goes to the universe. It comes back to me. Nothing else changes. So that meant none of my life changed. Until I realized, I was like, hey, I understand you're in a predicament right now. You're not in a place where you're exactly happy. I'm trying to help you, but you're making it difficult for me to help you. I'm doing my best. I don't have to help you, but I'm trying to, and you're taking advantage of me. I'm not going to tolerate that. So if you're going to continue to do that, we're not going to talk. That's as simple as that. And they thought I was bluffing. Till this day, I still mean exactly what I said. Please don't ever talk to me, delete me, block me. Don't talk to me unless it is for a specific reason, and it is for only this reason where you could communicate with me. That is my choice, and that is how I am willing to operate. Why? Because I protect my own energy. Now, if they're willing to change and they want to become better, and I see a difference, then, and I see them improving time after time, and they're trying, then absolutely. Will I give them a chance? That is still up to me. It's up to my own discretion. Life is hard, but there are two choices. Hard, easy choice. Yep. Yeah, most people, excuse me, a lot of dust. most people operate from a place of least resistance. More people would do more to avoid the pain of getting better, becoming better, working harder on themselves, than to gain pleasure of that pleasure of, damn, if I went to the gym and I worked out and I ate healthy and I did this continuously for the next X amount of months, I'm gonna add on years to my life. They're not willing to do that. Most people aren't willing to do that. So be that 1 or 3%. Be that 1%. That is how you become better. But most people, they don't do that. They get overwhelmed, or they don't know it. But I mean, you're watching YouTube. There's so much information. You could be anywhere in the world right now watching anything else, but you're here listening because you care about your life and you want your life to improve, and this is how you improve it. So don't thank me, thank you for being here. All right. So I was talking about the relation. I get on tangents pretty quickly. All right. So going back, your relationship's going south, blah 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 blah, and you try your best. Okay, then you walk away. Okay. Now, a lot of what you can do is continue to become the best version of yourself. Work on your confidence. Work on your approach. Work on your mindset. Build yourself up. That's the thing. Build yourself up. Understand what women want and what women mean when they say certain things. It's their own little language. Call it womanese, okay? Not being stifled and not being upset or not taking things too personal when maybe she's just not as into you, or it's usually the unknown if you don't know it. How do I keep things up without losing motivation? So the most important right there is it ego. The most important thing about that phrase that you just said is that it sounded like you're relying on motivation to keep you moving. Motivation is a push. So think of it like this. Motivation is a push energy. There's only so much that you could push until you just get tired and you get burnt out. And then that's when most people, they give up. Look at it as New Year's resolution. It's coming right up. Everyone's going to go to the gym. They're going to want to be healthy for about 2 weeks, maybe even 3 days at best. And they're going to lose that motivation. What you're looking for is discipline. Discipline is more of this type of energy. It's like that. I know I don't want to be on this treadmill. I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to go to the gym today. I really didn't feel like it. I really didn't. I can't breathe at home. I'm not feeling good, but I had to get up. I was like, it was increasingly difficult for me to get up today and go out to the gym, but I still did it. Why? Because of discipline. And Jocko Willink said discipline equals freedom. And that's something that most people will not do. They won't have the discipline of taking care of themselves, taking care of the body, physically, mentally, building themselves up. Now, as a guy and you're watching this, you want to always continue to build yourself up, not just your career, not just your physical body, but your mental and emotional stability as well. You mean dig deep? I didn't even need to dig deep. I just know that I'm like, if I don't do it, I'm gonna be losing out on so much more. Excuse me. So if you ever read the book Atomic Habits, if you do something consistently, so let's just say you skip a day of the gym because it's not because it's a rest day, but you skipped it because you didn't want to do it. It's raining. I don't want to do it. I don't want to go out there. I don't want to get wet. I'd rather stay home. I'll just do like 2 push-ups, whatever. All right. And you stayed home and you do that again. It's the beginning of a new habit. Twice. So if you haven't read that book, I will encourage you to read that book, Atomic Habits, to start building up habits. And there are ways to do things to build yourself up. And let's just say you don't like going to the gym. People freak you out sometimes, or you don't want to be laughed at, whatever. Then, by all means, work out at home, eat a little bit healthier, educate yourself on what to eat. Discipline is way more important than motivation. Motivation is what gets you moving. Discipline will continue to do it for you. So If I relied on motivation to be healthy and focus on myself, I would have given up a long time ago, and it would be very, very, very sporadic. I would, I would say discipline is way more important than motivation. Motivation is great. Motivation is better than nothing. There are some people that aren't motivated at all, but discipline is what's going to continue you to become more than you are, because you're putting action. You're putting action. Guess what? Sometimes there are times where, and I'm just using the gym as an example because most people can relate to that. There are times when I go to the gym and I'm just like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do anything. Being here right now feels like a waste of time. Now, it's just because I feel like I didn't want to do it. It's not because I'm sick and I think, if I'm sick, staying home is a better choice. But it's because I didn't feel like it. And because I didn't feel like it, I still went anyways. Because I didn't want to break that. I didn't want that cycle to continue, for me to get complacent and get comfortable. And that's just the gym. Think of that and apply that to relationships. If you see that your relationship is kind of crumbling down a little bit, it is your job as a guy to take the discipline and understanding. Like, I have to discipline myself to understand how relationship works. That is how I am able to teach this. But if I was not competent enough and understanding it, there's no way I could be teaching this to other people. How can I improve discipline? You just got to do it. It's as simple as that. You just got to do it. Sometimes you don't always have, and then it's always a little bit easier to find something that you enjoy. Find something that you enjoy at the gym, continue doing that, and then start adding a little bit more new things. And then educate yourself. A lot of the times, most people that don't like certain things is because most of it is unknown. An example is my mom hated the gym. She was like, I don't want to go to the gym. I just work out at home. I'm like, Mom, I've never seen you work out at home. I didn't say that to her, but I'm like, I encouraged her. I was like, hey, Mom, why don't you just come to the gym with me? I'll show you some stuff. I'm a trainer too. So I was like, yeah, let me show you some stuff. Have some fun. Do this. So what ended up happening was, I was like, I don't even care if you go once a week for like 20 minutes. Just come with me. Just go for a walk. It's healthier for you. She's retired. So I was like, yeah. And then she went twice a week. She went 3 times a week. Little by little, she's going now she goes every single day, to a point where people would invite her to go out and in the morning. She's like, no, I can't do that. I can't meet you at 9 because I have to wake up and go to the gym first. And then I'll meet you out. And if they be like, okay, yeah, then if they're willing to wait for her until 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, or whatever time it is, then she will go. But if not, gym is more important. She wants to focus on herself. And to me, that's beautiful. So that's the same thing. It's like, I didn't change her. I gently nudged her. I'm like, hey, Mom, like, this is good for you. You should do this. You should try to do a little bit more. And then now she's there. She built a little community. People kind of know her. They encourage her. They're like, wow, you go there. So it's like, those are things that are making it easier for her, but she still has a discipline of going. Yeah. So to me, that's beautiful. And so it's hard to improve discipline, but you can find ways to make it a little bit more fun and exciting. When you do the things that you like and you enjoy it, and you find a way to enjoy certain things, then it becomes a little bit easier. Then it's not like, oh, I need motivation. You just like, damn, sometimes I just can't wait to go to the gym just to dance a little bit. Like, that's just on me. But yeah, thank you for that question. I appreciate it. Mitchell on his tangent. So, understanding women, what they say. Sometimes women say certain things, they don't mean it a certain way. Okay. When I say example is, oh, what's bothering you? Nothing. I'm fine. She's not fine. Okay. When a woman tells you she's fine, she's not fine. So it's your job to understand what she's telling you. And I've always said this, which is, men who understands women are loved by women. Why? Because you understand them. Most guys get upset because, Oh, women are like this. They only want this. It's like, well, you sound pissed off and you sound upset. You're not going to get anywhere with that type of attitude. But if you take a step back and you try to understand her, you make it fun and you make it exciting, you keep it lighthearted and fun. Love is playful and fun. Why wouldn't she want to have a good time with you? It's because you're conveying it in a way to her that you understand her. So you can't take things personal. You can't be upset about it. Okay. If you're not getting what you want in a relationship, you know, she may say certain things like, oh, I love you, but you guys aren't really doing anything. Let's just say you're not even having sex. You might get it once a month. And I've seen that for a lot of married couples. The best relationships are the ones that have sex at least 2 to 3 times a week. Most people don't even get that much in a month. In long-term relationships, you hear that. Good, happy, healthy relationships that usually they stand the test of time is they have sex multiple times a week. They have fun and they keep it light. And it's just not sex, but it's like, you know, he keeps it easy. You know, there's that leadership. If you don't know how to lead that type of relationship, she's not going to be open up mentally, which her legs closed. My coach always says, damn, what was that word? My quotables. What was my quote? It will come back to me. Something about legs closed, legs open. It will come back. But anyways, you have to watch her behavior. What is her behavior telling you? What is her behavior telling you? Now, if her behavior is changed from what it was before, chances are, it's what you're not doing or what you're doing incorrectly. And it's usually an attraction issue. And an attraction issue is from a guy. Cozy, you said, what if you say, I would like to know what I may have done to upset you because I want to make sure I'm treating you in a way you deserve. Is that coming from a weak position? I think you're over. I think you could shorten that. You could shorten that a little bit. And you sound like a very empathetic guy that wants to please his woman. There's a difference between saying too much, because usually when people explain too much, they're afraid. So instead of saying, I would like to know what I may have done to upset you, you could just say, oh, what have I done to upset you? Tell me. And don't do it through text, okay? Do it in person, or at least on the phone. At least, because you can hear tone. If she's pissed off at you, anything you say, she's gonna read it as you're pissing me off. I always say, even, you know, when my lady's upset, I'm like, hey baby, I understand that it sounds like this is something that is best if we spoke on the phone or in person. Do you have time at this time? And we can talk about it. That's it. Timing is key. Yeah. So yeah, coming from a place of strength, it's more of your tone, your demeanor. Like, hey baby, I've noticed that you've been a little bit distant lately. You have like, is there something it's going on? Like, what's on your mind? What's on your mind is huge. What's going on? What's on your mind? What's bothering you? And when she tells you, tell me more. Don't leave anything out. Those are great words. Tell me more. Don't leave anything out. Okay? If you learn anything, and if her behaviors change, if you don't get anything else in this whole hour, tell me more. Don't leave anything out. What's going on? And then really be there for her, okay? Don't just say that and then go on your phone. Really, tell me more. Don't leave anything out. What's going on? What's on your mind? What's bothering you? I learned English late in life, so I'm not. Uh, life. So am afraid of not pleasing. You are right. It's okay. It's okay. But you're trying. That's the most important thing. Um, let's see. Okay, so I wrote a lot over here. I'm just gonna summarize it. But basically, if you're not getting what you want in a relationship, she says one thing and does another. Basically, her actions is not congruent with her words is not congruent with her actions. Then and her behavior is changing. Usually is an attraction issue. It's and you're the guy. It's usually on you to fix that on your own, and by acting in a way that is more attractive. And so, how? By approaching it in a way of like what I said before, from a place of strength. What's going on? What's bothering you? What's on your mind? I noticed you've been a little bit distant, like things like that. That's important. Okay. Now, if she's like, you know what? I'm over it. I don't want to talk to you. I need space. When a woman tells you she needs space, you have to give it to her. You'd be like, well, I don't want space. If she wants to break up with you, if she wants a break from you, you'd be like, well, I don't want a break, and this is your decision. This is what you want. So ultimately, you're not gonna stop her. You'd be like, I mean, if that's what you want, that's not what I want. So if she wants a break or time away from you, you have to, you know what? You have to give it to her. You have to allow her. But she has to come back to you. That is the most important thing. When a woman says, "Oh, I need a break from you," and you're like, "Oh, what? How long? 2 weeks? 2 months? Like what? Like, how long?" You just gotta let her come to you. It's not what I want. If that's what you want, by all means, take all the time you need. But usually, if she's on a break, what it really sounds like is, well, right now everything's not working out, so I'm gonna use this hall pass to go have some fun. You don't have to stick around. You'd be like, that's not what I want. If that's what you want, it sounds like a breakup. And if that's what you want, because what you're telling me is that you're unwilling to help this relationship get patched. What you're telling me is that you want to break away from it. So she says she's upset, but she doesn't know why. What would you say? Well, think about it, right? Just have her think about it. Have her think about it. I'm upset. I don't know why. Well, what is the first thing that comes to mind right now? And you have to be calm as a guy. A guy has to be. You imagine you're the guy, the rock in the ocean that is calm, that is not stifled or perturbed by how she's acting. Because I've done a mistake of getting really upset when she doesn't act a certain way. It is not easy. It is not easy. But if you could operate from a place of strength more often than not, and she trusts your masculine core, she is going to want to be around you more. She's not going to want to lose something great in her life. And it doesn't matter how much money you have, what car you drive, how nice of a watch you own. It does not matter. None of those things matter. Look at Jeff Bezos, one of the richest guys. Wife left him. Obviously, it is not about money. It's more of about the attraction. So how are you going to operate from a place of strength? That's very important. Okay. She doesn't know why. I'm like, well, talk to me. Tell me, what's the first thing on your mind right now? What is the first thing on your mind? She will figure it out, and you allow her to talk. Your job is to ask quality questions. Now, people always say there's no such thing as a dumb question. There is such thing as good quality questions. So, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? What do you think is bothering you? Do you need some time? Okay, why not? Why not easy? Because two different ways of behavior. I'm not sure what that means. But let's see. Now, I've said that if she wants time away from you and she doesn't want to talk to you, she wants to break it off and things like that. Well, guess what? If you want her back, by all means, you want her back. But the most important thing is that you want to reinvent yourself again. You got to reinvest in yourself and your ability to become more than you are. And as you improve and you become better, guess what? Your dating pool, your dating options become better. I don't practice enough. Is it Skippy? There you go. Practice it some more, right? So we always have room for improvement. So what is one thing that you will do to improve your English? I know it's not about relationship, but hey, guess what? If your English, right? If you really want your English to become better, well, guess what? You will want that. And so, if she says, so, let me try to at least finish this. So remember, there's always room for improvement. You always have the ability to pick and choose your dating prospects. It really depends on how much work you're willing to put into yourself or what you're willing to settle with. A lot of people settle. You may have good intentions, but you can easily turn her off by overly investing and displaying excessive emotions. Guys, I don't tell guys not to show any type of emotions, but there's a time and place for it. You know, that's great. And you know what? Hopefully the next time I see you next week, your English is that much better. All right. So focus on yourself. A lot of people have good intentions. A lot of people have bad intentions. We don't know that, but there's a time and place on how you display your interests and when to pull back. And if you don't understand that, that is how you could turn someone off. That, you know, you could, there's no one pickup line. There's no one thing that you can, it's really on how you feel about yourself and how you present yourself. I don't feel great all the time, but there's some times where I'm like, damn, I'm feeling myself. And I don't need that liquid courage, but having that liquid courage does help, but I don't rely on that. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that are like, well, I can't talk to people unless I'm drunk. I'm like, well, then you need help. You need help. Cozy, I'm very good at being calm, so I will continue to be. Then she usually says she doesn't know and has to think about it. She will sometimes say she doesn't want to talk about it. She doesn't want to talk about it later. She does not want to talk about it later. So Cozy, you're also looking for someone that's not going to close off. That's not going to stonewall you when things go bad. And that's another one. Communication for me is number one. In a relationship, it has to be number one. The most important thing for me, loyalty, but two, communication. Because guess what? Whenever I'm in this relationship, I have to understand that things don't always go the way you want it. And when it doesn't, you have to be willing to talk to me. And if you're unwilling to talk to me and you're like, yeah, I don't want to talk to Mitchell right now, I'm pissed off and I'm upset, I'm like, hey, this relationship is not going to work. So that's one thing I'm not willing to tolerate. And I will state that. If you're going to continue to do this is not something that's going to work. And she would try to gaslight me. Oh, you trying to threaten the relationship? Absolutely not. But I'm just letting you know these are my boundaries. And I'm not going to try to be in a relationship where I have to feel like I need to pry everything off of you. I get it if you don't want to talk right now. But eventually you're going to have to if you want a relationship to work, at least in my relationship. So these are my boundaries, and this is what I'm not willing to tolerate in any relation. Yep. Communication is key. As cliche as it sounds, it is super important. It's super important. You don't have to panic when there is a problem. No. Now, does it mean that I don't panic? Sometimes I do. I'm like, oh shit. But then I have to realize, I'm like, all right, Mitchell, maybe it's just my fight or flight. I have to take a step back and be like, all right. Recenter yourself, Mitchell. What's going on? Analyze it. You've done this before. You know what to do. Some situations are a little bit more difficult than others, but you got this. What is this thing telling you right now, and how are you going to approach it? Because a lot of times, most people, when they upset and they yell and they scream, is because they don't know. They're behind anger is always fear. And if you're always fearful of certain things, it's because you don't know and you haven't done enough to face those fears, and that's why you're always in this fearful state. And people that is in always a fearful state always tend to attract more negative. Panic will improve. Panic will not improve the problem. You have to take a step back. But anyways, best thing is, if her behavior's changed, chances are it's something about you. Usually it's your job to help facilitate that. If you're the guy, you have to facilitate that and see what's going on, right? Me too. I told her if she does not tell me I can't help, I think she's going to make yeah. And Cozy, I understand your situation. What you're doing is very noble. What you're doing is very it's very nice of you. But you also have to remember it's not your job to fix her. And what I mean fix her is that you're allowing her to open up to you. You're allowing her to open up. If you don't open up, it's going to be really difficult for me. And you're telling her this. If you don't open up to me, it's going to be really, really difficult for me to understand what is going on. And if I don't understand you, it's going to be even more difficult for me to like try to figure things out and to, like you said, fix the problems that we're having right now. So you have to allow her to come to you. And if she's that type of person that's kind of stonewalling, doesn't want to talk to you, well, guess what? That might not be the best person for you. Take time after that communication. Absolutely. Anyways, 20 minutes. I'm 20 minutes ahead or over my 1 hour live. But I really do appreciate you guys. I really do. Normally I would do my, I'm gonna do my summary. Let me do my summary. All right. So here's my summary of everything, and I'm gonna close it off. Right. So first slide was bottom line, her actions. People say a lot of things. Sometimes they mean it, and sometimes they don't. What do her actions say to you? A woman can only love a man she can respect. If she does not respect you, it's going to be really, really, really difficult for her to love you. And what I mean that is no woman can love a man she does not respect. Dating phase. Do your own due diligence. You want to trust that she's telling you the truth, but you also want to verify that truth. Not that you don't trust her, you just got to verify it yourself. It's kind of like if I gave you a bunch of money for a big transaction, like I'm buying something off of you and I'm giving you a whole load of cash. Are you not going to count it? Or are you just going to be like, I trust you? I mean, you can, but don't be upset if, you're missing a few $100 bills. You know what I'm saying? So dating phase, I'm not gonna do that. But in a relationship, if you're in a relationship with your girlfriend or your wife, whether it's short-term or long-term, it is your job as a man to look at her and judge her level of interest. You're the man, you're the leader, you have to take care of that. Don't be the man then, okay? If you don't like it, don't be the man. You can't change her, but you can change yourself. If you're not getting what you want in a relationship, she may tell you certain things like, oh yeah, I love you and things like that, but you guys don't really, or she doesn't really show it enough. Show it in, maybe you guys aren't having sex enough, things like that. Her behavior, always bottom line, her actions. Respect is the most important thing in a relationship. Absolutely. So that being said, guys, really do appreciate your time. I'll be back next Saturday. I'm not going to do Sundays right now. It's just too much. I'll be back next Saturday, and I'll be talking about another topic. Now, if you guys are curious and you want to talk to me a little bit more, the best place is letting me know through Instagram. That's just what I use. Okay, so you could or leave it in a comment down below on a topic that you want me to kind of go over. That's something that you guys could request to as well. And in the meantime, I hope you guys do enjoy your weekend. Have a lot of fun. And I catch you guys next time. See you, Crystal. Is it Skippity and Cozy? Great seeing you. I don't know if who else is here. Tracy. Okay, but anyways, I catch you guys next live. All right, peace.